Hey everyone, how's it going? Koala Superhero here with another Overwatch video. Blizzard has introduced a bunch of Easter eggs, hidden nods and clever puns in the Summer Games 2017 cosmetics. And this video aims to share some of them, including the more elusive ones that you might have missed. First off with McCree, we have his Desert Seagull, which is a very clever pun on the Desert Eagle, a very famous weapon. His lanyard, which says high tide instead of high noon, which again is a nice little reference to McCree himself. The cross symbol on his shorts, which references the fact that he's a lifeguard, the life part coming from the fact that the symbol is actually using the support class hero's symbol. If you look very closely on his equipment, I had to take a very high resolution screenshot to do this. You can see that the brand is called Overtow, which is a mix between the words Overwatch and undertow being a strong downward pulling current in the sea, which is quite an appropriate name for some lifeguard equipment. Next up we have Soldier's Grillmaster 76 skin with his assault rifle, which is a salt rifle. The barcode of his healing can, which features a reference in the form of a phone number to the popular TV show The IT Crowd, a British TV show about two IT technicians and their computer illiterate boss. There are some other small things on this skin, like the socks and sandals, which are reminiscent of the Great British Summer, and the brilliant pun on his apron, raise the stakes. Next we have the Meteor brand, which seems to be a sporting equipment brand sponsoring some of the heroes, as you can see here on Sombra and Junkrat for example. This also could be a reference to Doomfist in his recent release, Meteor referencing his Meteor Strike ultimate ability.
Meteor Strike!
Next up we have Hanzo's highlight intro called Target Practice. If we look at this more closely, we can notice some similar filming angles to a famous scene in the Pixar movie Brave, where Merida also splits an arrow in two. It's a real shame that the Overwatch team didn't add a flamboyant red wig to Hanzo to complete the look.
I do what I must.
Next up is Junkrat with his cricketer skin. As you can see in his classic skin, he has quite a few little patches around his body. This bomb for example here, and this little diagram here. If you look more closely at the cricket one, you can see a kangaroo stitched onto it. It took me a while to notice that one, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Another one for Junkrat is that not only his peg leg has been replaced by a cricket bat, it also has a couple of nails driven through it, which seems to reference games like Fallout 4, where you can find baseball bats turned into makeshift weapons upgraded with loads of nails. There's also a couple more. For a starter, his weapon is shooting cricket balls and not bombs. These also are sporting the Meteor brand. And finally, his description, Junkrat gives new meaning to the ashes, is a double reference, firstly to the fact that Junkrat sets everything on fire, and secondly to a yearly competition which is played between the English and Australian cricket teams called the Ashes. Next up we have Reaper and his biker skin. At first glance this skin doesn't seem to have that much hidden within it. It seems pretty straightforward with its orange and black colours and his really cool look. But once you look a bit more closely, there are a few things that you can notice which I wanted to point out. First off, if you look at his leg guards, one of them has Edge written on it, but that's not what we're looking at. The other one has a symbol, which awfully looks like his two guns, don't you think? If you look closer at his cape, you can see Reaper's original face, which makes up the motif of the cape. This face is also present on his guns. This is a callback to Reaper's original dark self. Here he's wearing this bright orange sportsman colour, but usually he's this dark and mysterious stranger. And I think the inclusion of his original face here is a way for Blizzard to remind us that Reaper isn't actually a good guy. The last thing that I wanted to point out on his guns is actually a bicycle brake, another little detail which proves that the Overwatch team put a huge amount of thought into their skins. The name of Widowmaker's skin struck me because it didn't have anything to do, at first glimpse, with the actual skin itself. Okay, the Côte d'Azur is a very popular tourist destination, it's where for example Cannes, the festival, happens. But that doesn't really explain why this skin is called Côte d'Azur, and that's what I tried to figure out. It took me a while, but I think I got it. If you look how Widowmaker is dressed, or actually, in this case not dressed so much, you can see her sides. Her sides are blue, and in French côte means coast, okay, like in Côte d'Azur, but it also means side. Azur being a blue colour, this might be a very hidden reference to the fact that we're seeing Widowmaker's sides. This is the first time we've seen her with so little clothes on, and since Widowmaker is considered quite sexy within the community, this might be a hint towards that. If you look at her sniper rifle a bit more in detail, it's called Baiser Fatal, a serial number, and Widowfang. Baiser Fatal could be a reference to the gun's original name, Widow's Kiss, but very loosely translated into French. Okay guys, that's it for me today. If you found any Easter eggs or references of your own, please share them in the comments. If you like this video, please think to give it a thumbs up and to hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for another video.